If you're late and you're the only one here, whose fault is it? I guess that makes it mine. I was going to do this by myself, but I will give a link to the gang if anybody wants to come in and give their perspective. What do we sell? We sold some all over body spray by Playboy. Woot woot woot. Just another retail arbitrage item that is going out the door. Somebody can smell like. What does Playboy smell like? I don't know. Steven Strait, what's up? Flipping good. How are you, man? Yeah, I don't know if anybody in the group wants to join, but I will entertain you for a couple minutes, let a few people get in here, and then I will talk about the course. There's a link for it in the description. It is live. It is still it's probably 90%. I am going through it again, thinking, you know what, I could do that better. And so I'm doing a revision. Everything's in it. I'm just doing a revision because I'm that kind of want everything to be perfect. Want to make sure that I explained it correctly. Victoria, have you recovered from all your travels? I hope so. You went to one of the 9 states I have not been to. Hey, John. So we got 28. Okay, we'll do 2 more minutes of me rattling on. Scott C, what's up, man? So there are a lot of people that help you along the way and help you with a lot of this stuff. And y'all only see an icon. He barely talks, but Scott C is a wealth of knowledge. And the one thing I talk about in this group is what I've always talked about, and I'm going to add some more video to it to elaborate on what I mean. Is the people around you. You truly become the people around you. Be careful who you associate with and that kind of stuff, because they can either bring you down or they can lift you up. And then as them part of them lifting you up, you also bring value to them. It's a 2-way street. Scott C said he wasn't going to cry today. Well, go ride around in your minivan and you'll be all right. Hey, Mike, what's up, Storage Auction Pirate? Alan, Larry, Cindy, Ron, who else have I missed? So, is it, man, when you're on here by yourself, Victoria, I see why you talk to the chat so much. I have forgotten. I've not done a show by myself in a long time. I mean, a long time. So when you have an extra person, extra body, it is Mike, you will only be successful as you're 100% correct. The one thing I would tell you is it's the organization that you need to. Steve's here for moral support. Josh, I'll probably go live Sunday just to talk about the course again, but I'm not consistent. If it wasn't for the fact that today is the day of the culmination of the last 3 months of me working, just think about video and how much it takes to shoot 70 different videos and edit 70 videos and then upload 70 videos and learn a platform because you've never done this kind of thing before. Yeah, so it's taken me a while to build this. I'm in my early 50s. How do I know? How am I supposed to know what a funnel is? A funnel for me is I just spilled oil all over the engine, and I need something to keep the oil from going all over. Yeah, Alan, that's another one. I taught myself how to make a logo because I was too cheap to. So I was too cheap to pay somebody on Fiverr to do it. They wanted like $70 or $80. I'm like, I've got Canva, and then I use AI. Somebody was telling me about AI. I'm like, you know what? This is awesome. And let me shut the door. Joni's in there watching. Johnny's in there watching Saw. I think she's in like season 4 or 5 of Saw. So yeah, Mike. It just takes some. It just took some playing around and effort. You can teach yourself anything. Just choose where to learn it, and you only worry if you answer yourself right. Tom said, "Don't." I guess you're talking to Scott about not crying. So what is the course? It's been 5 minutes now. Do a video about making your logo. All right, I'll do that. Let me write it down. I forget. You should see I started using these, and you should see that everything is a yellow post-it note around here. I broke the pencil. Sorry. Tom, I'll give you credit. So Timmy said he builds lots of logos with himself for some program that's cost to make. It is that one. I pay for Canva. It's $10 a month. I do all my thumbnails with Canva. Any of the pictures, any of the editing, so I use Canva probably 4 or 5 times a week. So I think it's like $10 a month. And so it was just something I already paid for, which that was right in my cheap alley. So the last 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, I have done a first quarter course where I do all the teaching through a video. And then the problem with that is if you're not there for the videos, and it ends and you only cover the first quarter. And so, I get people asking all the time. I couldn't remember what it was. I had a bunch of apps that I downloaded when I talked to you 2 or 3, and then I couldn't remember what they were for. Yeah. That's what happens when you drive all the way to California and back. You get a lot of information and it's hard to process it all. So, and the problem is you're limited to how many students can take it. You're also limited in time because, I still have to make a living. I still have to make house payments, car payments. Johnny's got doctor visits. And so I have to, I slow down for the first quarter with everybody else. So I would teach, and then I would go on to play and, resell the rest of the year and still take questions about, there were people requesting access into the old Facebook group today and wanting training, wanting, questions answered. And so last year, talking over with Scott C, have you finished crying yet, Scott? You're okay? He's like, man, you should make this into a course. And he had some courses that he had found that were some examples. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to do by the end of the year. And it never happened. I went a whole year, taught another class or whatever I did. And so I finally decided, hey, this is, put everything that I talk about, everything that I know about it into one course. Take the time, even though it is the fourth quarter and you're going to sacrifice a lot of time, you could be sourcing and selling in the fourth quarter. If you don't do something different, you're not going to be 2023 is going to be the same. I'll get into the year and it'll be a mess just like last year. So I sacrificed part of the fourth quarter in order to build this class. It is 10 modules. It is 70 lessons. So I think it's like 8.5 hours of video. And then the big value is, as you go through that, you're self-taught, you can watch it over and over as many times. You'll have lifetime access to it. I'm going to redo it and revamp it all through the year. I figure by the end of the summer, I'll be done messing with it. But I've built a Facebook group. It is called the Arbitrage. What did I call it? I just come up with its name today. The Arbitrage Alliance. I'm like, I need something that sounds different, something that sounds. And so what's the purpose of the Facebook group? It is going to be a kind place, a place where limited access. So you come in, you can ask questions, buying the course gets you automatic access to it. The through the next few months, I will go through each module live in the class and explain and take questions. So if there was something as you went through any of the 10 modules, you say, hey, I want to know more about this. I'll go live just like this, and probably some of the usual suspects that we will talk about each one of the sections. And then just so it'll be extra learning. So I talked a little bit last night, and I've done it with every course because every course has had a Facebook group. So I feel some responsibility, courses, there's an outlay of cost. And so I feel some responsibility to help you pay for it. It's kind of a weird, I don't know why my brain works this way, but it does. And so I'll sprinkle bolos through, and, people in the group will do the same thing. So you'll have an opportunity to make that money back pretty quick. I'll throw enough in the first couple months. They will tail off because, but there'll be periodic information. It's not a bolo group or any of that kind of stuff, but there's, hey, this is going on. Last week, how many people knew, and it's probably still going on now, that Kohl's was running half off clearance that is 80% off. They're damn near giving that stuff away. I think Dollar General just did one of their half off clearance. It's stuff like one of the big ones in one of the courses was everybody got engaged in Squishmallows and sold just a ton of Squishmallows. One of them was the ivermectin thing that went through. Everybody figured out where they can find it and how they were doing it. And they said, hey, this is how you do it at Tractor Supply. This is how you search Tractor Supply sites. So flip it. So Kohl's runs through Sunday. All right, good to know. And so there was, people will readily give information because for the most part, you can't buy it all. I've got a group of friends and we're trying to go through particular stores, no rhyme or reason. And we're kind of dividing up the country saying, hey, where have you gone here? Where have you gone there? You absolutely cannot buy it all. You just can't. The sheer amount of money and effort it takes I tried 41 states. I went to every Rite Aid, and I still did. In all that time, I still haven't made it to every Rite Aid. Think about that. I've been to 3,000, still haven't made it all of them. All you Rite Aids in Idaho and Seattle and Portland, I'm coming one day. One day. Timothy, there is a 25% discount for post-class members. I haven't thought about, so I'm going to, at some point, I've got to figure out how I'm going to do, if you just want no class, but just straight access to the Facebook group, there'll be something, and there's always going to be a discount for anybody who's taking the class. Oh yeah, and Timothy, that is new this week as well. Reached out to Supply Hut, through someone who took one of the classes, who I still talk to a lot. Says, hey, I just got a huge order from Supply Hut because he sells a particular item. He says, I got a whole pallet full of stuff. I'm talking to the guy who owns it. I'm like, I need to talk to him because I want an affiliate link. And so you meet it doing retail arbitrage and doing the trainings. I have met so many good people. Just most everybody who is, I would consider in the circle that I talk to a lot, except for Steve. Did not meet Steve in a class. I've been through one of the training classes, and so the Facebook group is a good opportunity for you to meet people and talk. Hey, maybe we have something in common. It happened in the last class. There's 4 or 5 of them. They made a couple groups. You'll be amazed the amount of knowledge that 5 people have versus 1 person has. You should have somebody above you, somebody below you, and even so as you guys rise, you bring the new people are important. Don't ever discount a new person when you're talking because they don't know what they don't know. They don't understand that they're not supposed to do it but a certain way. So they go, hey, can you do this? The questions they ask are absolutely amazing for there are some of the crazy ones, like the one last night, the guy asked, were eBay fees tax deductible? You get that question. You just do. And that's fine. You help explain to them what it is. But then you also get hey, why can't I get the report this way? Hey, why can't I look for stuff this way? And the lessons are not all just retail arbitrage. There are also I go over the apps and stuff that I've used and how to make a route. And there's going to be, so I talk about the apps, but in the Facebook group, I will build some videos just for them about how I use Enroute. And I've complained about this phone for a long time because this iPhone does not scan very well with the Amazon app. But turns out the Scout IQ app scans perfect. And so for the $14 a month that I pay for it, I just scan everything for it right now. So it's lots of videos on that kind of stuff. Lots of video. Ron, you just have to send me an email and I will send you the link. So it's in the description below, scott.zilke.com at gmail.com. And there's a special link to I think that one, the regular class is $297. I think it's $222 for that, for the 25% off. Dave, the right apps are tremendous. And see, the part that I would have taken classes, I would have taken a class just like mine when I started, but guess what? There wasn't one. I am self-taught. I had to teach myself pretty much everything. There is one Chrome extension that I will go over in the group that will completely blow your mind how much time it saves as you're doing research on your computer. It's amazing. And I learned it in a book that I paid $300 for. I ended up selling the book for like $250 or $260. So for the $50 or $60, the use of one extension, it saved me enough time to pay for that $60. There's no telling how much time I've saved with that extension. Keepa app, yeah, I go over Keepa, and I'll do more videos about Keepa. I don't know everything about Keepa. So the course is an online course. It went live today. So you actually go through all the modules. The Facebook group is live. In the course is a link to the Facebook group, and I'll approve you when you ask. What's the name of it was Chris Green's Retail Arbitrage book. I don't remember what the name of it was. It came out in 2015, late 15, early 16. Chris Green, he's still got a YouTube channel, and he does like, things that he finds, like at the thrift stores, no stuff tells you what's available. But what was the one? He was one of the Godfathers, which he's one, not Inventory Lab, but the other one, the Inventory Lab. He was one of the founders of that program. Rocky, that's exactly right. This is the course that put Steve in trouble. No, it's not the one. And there's a section on there that's because of what Steve's going through. I'm going to add another one. No, it's not helium. It's scan power. I could think of the word scan. It's scan power. So back in 2008, Chris had a developer develop one of the first scanning apps, and because he was working for, I think, Home Depot, and he was buying tools or he was a sales rep. He was something to do at Home Depot, and he was buying the tools when they went on sale and selling the parts, breaking up sets and selling them. And he ended up forming Scan Power with another guy, him and the partners. And I know Chris is sold out. I don't know if the other guy is still there or not. I can't remember his name. I had dinner with him one night in Vegas. I just can't remember his name. Or I was in Chicago. I'm sorry. But it was his book. It was his book. I didn't even get to the end of it. And at the end of the book, his phone number was in there. You could call him for a free 30-minute consultation. And he's like, you'll be amazed. I've had like 4 people call me. I've sold thousands of copies of the book, and four people call me. Miss Sadie, it never went under $200. Yeah, that book was phenomenal in its teachings. And I got through the setup of the browser and the setup of all the stuff because I was not very proficient at using the computer at the time when that book came out. I do a lot of the same stuff I do now with scanning. What number? I think this is 5, but this is the first one, Rocky, that's online for good. So you'll have access. I'm gonna keep this going. Goal is to build out 3. This is the big one, and then 2 smaller ones, but to drive everything through the Facebook group, because it's going to be a community. There in there, if as soon as I figure out how to use a scheduling program, I get a lot of people requesting for. I just want to talk to you one-on-one. I just want to. I need consultation. Do you offer that? I'm like, I don't know how to do it. So I'm in the process of figuring that out as well. It'll run to the Facebook group as well. So it's this one is different. This is the Rocky. This is the last one on RA because it will stay up. If things change in 6 months, I'll redo the whole course and you'll still have access to it. It's the one that's going to run year round because it's online. This is not a in person. This is hosted by Kajabi. I've had to learn Kajabi because it's an online course hosting platform. I've watched 25, 30 videos. I'm trying to tell you the time to learn how to even put a course together. There's something called Timothy. There's something called Calendly. I think that's the one, Calendly, that will integrate through and then allow you to do something on it and schedule through my schedule. I think it's Calendly. I've seen it. Kristen uses it. Kristen Ostrander uses that one. So I've got to figure that one out. I'm probably going to end up calling her and asking her, you got 5 minutes to tell me how to use this? Or I'll probably do a video first. You can probably, but sorry. What questions does anybody have? Yeah, Rocky Sales. Steve's own issues, but Steve in trouble. It's Mr. Sadie still use Outlook. I don't have Outlook, but I have everything on Apple. So I'm trying to. So a lot of the teaching is just me talking because it's explaining, and I wanted to put some slides and stuff in, but yeah, I'm not that good yet. So I'm teaching myself how to use everything on this Apple computer that I've ignored. What is the one that starts with a Keynote? I'm trying to learn how to use Keynote. Ron, I have a separate checkout, so that's why I will send you a separate link that's not in the description below. You just email me, and I'll return email with the link to the return. Diane, there's no cap because there's no it's not formally in a group or anything, so people can take it as long as they want. I cover a ton of eBay in this thing. It's eBay. It's basically eBay, and that's only because I mentioned Poshmark and some of the others because retail arbitrage to Poshmark, right now is a perfect example. You can go to Kohl's and buy it for half off of 80% off, and then put that on Depop. You can put it on Poshmark and the others. I just have never sold on. I have no clue about. Ron, it's in the description below. Scott.zilke@gmail.com. Let me put it over here, Ron, because you're going to ask me over and over and over. There you go. It's in the chat. But because I lean heavy Amazon, I'll talk to you also through about well, Rocky, that's your opinion, and that comes from looking from the outside in, and you make assumptions. You'd be amazed. I talked to Steve during the show, but neither one of us calls anybody because we're introverts. So the decisions they make together have nothing to do with me or trying to be me or anything else. They went after their own business model, had nothing to do with me. So, I appreciate that you have your own opinion, but Steve just told you were wrong, and I'm going to tell you you're wrong. I just teach you how to find RA items. I'm not telling you how to live your life, how to make financial decisions, and what to do with debt and all those things. I'm actually got and one of the post-it note here says debt to purchase. Make a video to add to it to warn of using debt in retail arbitrage. That's one of the ones. That's one of the ones coming. Okay, Ron, if I have to pick one of those three, I'll pick old. I can give you the exact opposite, Rocky. There's David Jarvis right there. David Jarvis took 2 of the earlier classes. In the first class, when we were talking a lot about wholesale, and we got to going over retail arbitrage, he called me, told me I was insane crazy, and that he was leaving the group and he didn't need a refund or anything. He just thought that I talked too much about retail arbitrage, and he didn't see it, and he's not going to do it, and he's out of it. He's going back to eBay. David Jarvis, you want to tell him about the record year you just have for yourself and how much retail arbitrage you've done. You've done so much and followed the things I do that you've been sourcing in Huntsville, Alabama. You've been all up and down the East Coast buying all this stuff. So, yeah. Okay, Rocky. So I got in trouble with credit cards earlier in our married life. And when Joni had disability she was out of work for 2 years. So we ended up selling both cars, no car payments, and working our way out of all that mess through one salary when we lost the other salary. And we were just determined not to go back. So I do my best not to, I absolutely do my best not to use it. And it's not that I'm any expert with debt. Here's how I'm an expert in debt. I don't use it. I've taken Amazon loans. They're hard. I would warn you against an Amazon loan. They are very predatory. That payment comes. And unless you are someone who is religious about paying it off and not carrying, Scott C is the exact opposite. That dude pays them off every time, uses his rewards, and never carries a balance, and is very smart with it. I'm not the one, so I would tell you if you handle credit like I do, don't use it. Don't use it. I just don't use it. It's not that I'm smart with it. I know me. Yeah, there's a lot of it's motivation. Any of the stuff is, you can do any of the stuff. It is absolute motivation. A lot of it's helping people get over fear. In these classes, the one common thing, that's what I talked about this week, is a lot of people are scared of Amazon, are scared of a second platform, are scared of, sorry, I've got the door closed and there's dogs outside trying to get in. And it's, as long as you follow rules and understand what the rules are, there's nothing to fear. I mean, can a mistake happen? Could something happen? Like we talked about it last night with eBay making a mistake and suspended John for 3 days. Flipping ain't easy, not Chartier. He understands what they did, and he doesn't source those items anymore, even though he was in the right. Yeah, there's David. There's another one. David says he's built his everything, and he, no credit cards. I don't think he has a house payment. So, and this one of the topics is you've got to define your own area and figure out what's there. And that's one of the 8 or 10 minute lessons. It's what's in your area. I draw a 3-hour circle because that includes Atlanta, Nashville, Birmingham, and get you right to Memphis. But David Jarvis, hell, he's drawn my old circles. He lives on the east. He lives on the coast near the Atlantic Ocean. He's been all the way Alabama and up into Kentucky. So but yeah, it's 2 more years. Nice. Yeah, Robert, that's why I want to build the Facebook. The Facebook groups have been very strong for the first the first 3 or 4 training groups, but they end, and I don't want that community to end. I want to build a community of like-minded people that just get it. And Dave was in West Virginia last week. That's North Carolina to West Virginia, folks. I've done that same trip, but it's really the class. It's the strength of this class is it's at your leisure. You can take it as many times as you want, and then there's also the Facebook group behind it. So you're not waiting on me to go, hey, I want Scott to talk about this. I was doing a live every Wednesday night and some Sundays. If you want to learn about one of the topics, or if there's something that's not covered in there that you want me to cover, I can either cover it in the group or I'll add it to one of the modules, because I don't mind going back and adding, because I'll just put a note in the Facebook group saying, new module is added to section this, go check it out. That's ASD wants me to come. I'm not coming to see you next year. What other questions? Have I been live for a while? 30 minutes. About 5 more minutes and that's a shame, Anissa. But you truly have to look around. You can do a lot of the research on a computer. There's a module that talks about that, about how if you find something in a store, how do you double down on it and find more of the like items, and using your computer. And Keepa's a powerful tool. If you've never used Keepa, that's the best $21, $22 you'll spend. It's absolutely amazing, the power of it telling you, how many it sells, whether Amazon's in. I mean, there's people that do reverse on Keepa to find stuff, and it is. I think I only use about half of the power of Keepa. I need to just seek out some specific training on how to use that app more effectively. You could be like me in this. Once Joni got sick, I would tell you that the country is I've been as far away as South Dakota, into Wyoming, and down into California and everywhere else on these long trips. When Joni got sick, it changed. It changed the whole country to 3 hours, and I really don't like to stay more than a couple of days, because, man, life is short and she can't travel. So, I switched to a model that added a lot more used items. I don't know what you call it, from a thrift store or whatever, to eBay and Amazon. It's thrift arbitrage, whatever that model is. I talk about it in this group, because every kind of retail is open to you. At the end of the day, a thrift store, a Goodwill, is just a retail outlet to begin with. It doesn't have the new items, so it poses a little bit of a different problem. Hey, Jonathan, how are you, sir? It poses a little bit of a different. But I sold 3 Blu-ray players so far this week. I've got $5 to $7 in them. A couple of them I had to buy the remote, so I pushed it up to 11. But $50, $60, $70 for used Blu-ray players on Amazon. There's a way to do it. You just got to realize what retailer are you dealing with? Is if it is a thrift store. I used to tell you not to sell used on. I used to tell you not to sell used on Amazon because there was risk. That was just my own fear. That was just my own listening to others and not having a ton of experience with it. The return rate on used is actually less than new. Describe it accurately, and at a fair price. It is. Hey, Gate City Paul. I'm just announcing I finally formed an online class, a one that you can take at your leisure. Gives you access to all the modules um, without having to wait for me to do this at noon on a Friday. How did I learn Canva? Ron, I've used Canva for 3 years. Um, you want to know the honest truth, Ron? Make a logo on Canva. I wonder if you can make a logo on Canva. I googled it, and it came back to a video from there's like one guy who's like a Canva just savant, and I watched 3 or 4 of his videos, and I'm like, you know what, this is not terribly difficult, and just started playing with it. I can tell you the guy's name. I'm subscribed to him now. Canva. They have their own. What's the guy's name? There he is. Design with Canva is the channel. He's got 270,000 subscribers. 2 weeks ago, 10 mind-blowing Canva updates were just released. What's hot in Canva? Episode 25. All his videos that he makes he's a good teacher. So I've watched quite a few of his videos on how to do something. Midlife, no, Mr. Cortez, the announcement is I finally made an online course. It is up and available for purchase, and then it includes interest into a private Facebook group. And yeah, so that's so Tamara, I can read it. She released something this morning. Let's see here. I'm home, finally released from the hospital yesterday at 5 p.m. after a 3.5-hour drive home through a snow squall. We got home at 8:30 p.m. It was a good night of sleep, thankfully. So what happened? After I found my mom and hung up with 911, my chest started having chest pains. They lasted throughout the day. It didn't go away, even after lying down to rest when I got back home. When I cried, the pain intensified. After I called to my doctor's office looking for some anxiety medication, they recommended a trip to the ER. Thank goodness they did that. My EKG and blood test show I was having a heart attack. Even though we discussed something called broken heart syndrome, they couldn't determine if it was indeed an actual heart attack or not, so they sent me to Syracuse for a cath, where they also checked her arteries. They did an echocardiogram, which showed damage to my heart. Thankfully, though, it should be temporary, and I have no blockages. They determined it was indeed the broken heart syndrome. With new meds, it'll help reduce the stress on my heart, and in time, things will improve back to normal. If I hadn't seeked medical help, I could have had a real heart attack. When you hear couples that pass close together, this is most likely the cause. Heartbreak is real, and it can do damage to your heart. And she links to an article. So she is at home resting. Tri-State Picker, there's not a module on that because I set my account up in 2012. But I can answer any questions. I've got friends who have done it. It is through the Facebook group and through message to the Facebook group. We'll get you through it. It is pretty painless. You're going to sign up for the course. You're going to provide documents. You need a payment. So this is the only place I use a credit card. You need a credit card on file. They won't accept a debit card. I had a debit card for a while on file, but it was off a business account. But personal debit cards they have turned down. And then they're going to do an interview and go over your information. It is pretty much as easy as that. Some people make it out. The people that struggle with it don't have the proper documents or are trying to get by with, if Amazon says you need A, B, C, if you have A, B, C and do A, B, C, you almost always never have a problem. It is, but getting you started on Amazon, that's not terribly difficult. Yeah, Diane, I'm a friend. We're on Facebook, and that was posted. They came through here 3 or 4 months ago. The same genuine people that you see in her videos. That was an outstanding afternoon. Joni, it was Father's Day, Mother's Day. It was one of those two. Couldn't get restaurant reservations, so Joni decided, you know what, I'll just cook here. So we were able to spend more time here. Laura, she was in the chat earlier, came over and as well. So that was a good afternoon. Larry, it is no rhyme or reason. I've heard where a lot of people have issues with debit cards, and I've heard just like you where they take it. It's I don't know what it is. Yeah, Yellow Brick Reselling, Yellow Brick Road Reselling. Yes, Tamara. Laura, changing the card is not a big deal. So what do you hear about changing the card on Amazon? Everybody tells you that's going to trigger them to look at your account. That's going to trigger them. I've heard so many people had suspensions. I've changed the card 4 or 5 times, no issues whatsoever. Yes, Timothy. That is the sad part of all of it. She said that they would FaceTime once or twice a day, that they talked and texted and all day, best friend, and she was the one that found her. I can't imagine, when you're that close to a parent and then you're the one that finds them. I can see why she took it very, very hard. I think she would have taken it hardly, even if she wasn't the one to find her, because it's Gate City, Paul. It's always been that way. So that's the bonus in the class. I haven't got the videos up yet because it's the last thing, but and before the end of the weekend, I will have videos up on best practices for getting ungated, and I will also give you some manufacturers and distributors to get ungated with. It is because when you submit your documents to get ungated, you get different representatives. They outsource a lot of stuff to India, and so people when English is not their first language, they struggle with some things, and so you might have to submit 3 or 4. I've heard people as many as 10 or 11 times before they get ungated, but most time it's the first or second, just because. And I'll go over in a video, how to make it easier. I generally don't have problems, and because if I kind of dummy it proof, the way I fill out the paperwork and the way I give them the receipts, I make it where it's easier. Yes, lag. That's a gate that has a lock on it. That's correct. It's just part of the game, Paul. So when we were doing Squishmallows, and one of the live training groups, we all used the same place to purchase them from. It took me 3 times. Everybody else got in the first time for the most part. I don't know why. I helped a couple of them submit their documents the same way I did. They got approved first time. I didn't. So it's. Lord have mercy. Like all these people that you talk to are probably just personalities in your brain. What other questions got to ask before it's 44 minutes? But if you're thinking about it, want to, improve your skills, improving techniques, learn different ways of doing this, I can tell you there'll be enough information in the Facebook group that'll give you products to go buy. I'll personally make my mission to put stuff in there so that with any effort. So the one thing the reason why I do that too is is studies show that only 20% of people who buy a course use it. And so if I can encourage you to get out and start reselling retail arbitrage, it's a disease, it's an addiction. You just got to give somebody a taste of it. You got to get them out there scanning. You got to get them out there hunting. And then ask Mr. Jarvis how powerful the allure is of 44,000, 48,000 miles in his van. This is someone who told me he would never do it. He didn't see why I did it. He thought I was crazy. It is a crack addiction. So that's the other reason why in the Facebook, there's an ulterior motive. It's $297, Mr. Sadie, and that's it. Never, you have lifetime access to it and the group. All the changes and all the iterations that'll come of it, you'll have access to it. Unless you've taken a class before and it's 222. It's if you get somebody out there doing it, they're more apt to catch the disease like David has. And now David, he asked me different questions. David's got my phone number. He's converted over to an S Corp like I did. He's followed along the same stuff that I do. He's only a few years behind me for what he does. Mr. Sadie, Larry, I think it is reasonable, and that's why it's easy. It also makes it easy to put enough, items to find. I don't want to call them bolos because people will go, "You said there are going to be so many bolos." No, they're just going to be sprinkles to help you. Yes, midlife picker. I'm between now and the summer. I anticipate refilming a lot of videos because I'm going to teach myself how to better edit and better use slides and videos. Because when I watch some of them back, I'm like, it would help if something come up on the screen and said all these things that I'm not a good enough editor yet, even though I've done just tons of YouTube videos. There's a difference between editing like that and others. So absolutely. As things change, I talk about that all, it's going to have to be updated. There's going to have to be a spring and summer update because, rules change, things change. I'll have to go back in and edit. So it is lifetime access. As long as I'm around doing the course, heaven forbid something happened to me, then there won't be a lot of updates. But hey, Victoria, thanks for stopping in. I would have gotten up and said hello to you this morning, but I didn't get up till 8:30 or 9 because I was up till 3 o'clock last night working on this. Yeah, thank you. It was an undertaking, and a lot of it's a mindset. This is what I was talking about on the 1st of January when I told you that I had really talked to some people, talked to friends that I talk to a lot. And the answer you keep getting back is if you want 2023 to be different, you have to be willing to put in the time and the effort to do things different. Step out of your own comfort zone and do things different if you want it different. Right now, this afternoon, so Gate City Paul, it's going to be a lot of the same content through the course itself. It's updated based on different apps and stuff I use, and it's updated based on the rules. But the Facebook group is the power that's why there's a 25% discount. The Facebook group is the power. This Facebook group is not going to end like the others did. They kind of faded after the class did because they were just designed to be with the in-person training. And so it's going to be somewhere every day. I will visit the Facebook group at least once a day to answer questions. 5 or 6 people are already in the Facebook group that will be there to answer questions. And that will not be limited to retail arbitrage because, Harlan does hardly know retail arbitrage and he's in there. But if you want to learn, I spent a lot of time last night talking to somebody about an auction and in-person reselling. And so there's going to be lots of people to help in all different aspects. The Facebook group is not going to be limited to retail arbitrage, but I expect it'll grow, but the course itself is. And there will be a time, as soon as I figure out how to do it, to allow access to just the Facebook group. I haven't come up with that yet because I haven't wrapped my brain around it yet. Larry, the last course was me by myself, and I learned that. Yes. I have enough trouble getting along with the voices in my head. Okay. I'm sorry that you've been sick. I thought I saw that it was when I was looking at it that you had posted that it was going to be today and tomorrow, or yesterday and today. Maybe I'm just crazy. I hope you get to feeling better. And being sick sucks, for sure. All right. So any information you need, there's a link to the course there below, and when you're in the course, on the welcome video in the entrance, there are links to that to the Facebook group. So make sure you get in there and get started with that because we'll do some live stuff starting Monday or Tuesday in there, live welcome, and kick that off with a bang. That's nice to say, Mr. Sadie. Thank you. I've worried a lot about it. You know, I worry about making sure that I teach correctly, make sure that I communicate effectively so people can understand. I take a lot of care and concern that I put my name on it, and so I try to over deliver because, yeah, that's just who I am. Alan, we could talk a lot of time about the thing. There's another good one right there. By knowing Alan and one phone call he made to me sent me on a craziness that lasted until the government shut it down. I was on the phone with Alan, and Alan was like, "Have you seen what happened to face mask?" I'm like, "Yeah, they weren't worth the trouble. I looked a week ago." He goes, "You might want to look again. Look at this and this. Holy crap!" And yeah, that was about a 6 week period, Alan, of just sheer craziness buying face masks. Yeah, Tim. If I don't know, I don't have any problem telling you I don't know how to do something, but I will figure it out, or I know enough people who would tell me correctly. I would rather tell you I don't know than lead you astray. Is That's a bad choice. I would say transit just because, but they're both. Oh my God, you get Sprinter. I wish Toyota brought their size van over here. If Toyota would ever bring that, the rest of the world has Toyota vans that size. We don't. It's unfair. Absolutely unfair. Look what I do to my little Toyota. Can you imagine if it was the size of a Sprinter van? They would sell them about like hotcakes. Mm-mm-mm. All right, I'm gonna go make videos. Joni is supposed to be getting ready. We are. She is helping me in one of the other new things I'm doing is I'm an Amazon influencer making videos. So Joni and I are shooting videos today to put so that whenever people click on the video, if they're wanting to find out more information about the product, they can watch one of our videos and then hopefully buy the product. Everybody, thanks for joining me. I appreciate all the questions and all the compliments. Very nice. I will probably do this again Sunday morning. Just if anybody has any questions between now and Sunday, or I will do this again probably Sunday and then next Wednesday or so. until I figure out how to do a funnel and advertising, because I haven't even done that yet. I don't know how to do Facebook ads or any of that stuff yet. So that's my next skill, is to learn Facebook ads and YouTube ads. All right, everybody have a great weekend. Roll Tide. It looks weird because I have to look at the chat over there and my eyes don't look there.